I pay tribute to the first president and founding father of Namibia, President Sam Nujoma, who passed away earlier this year.
In the desert plains of Namibia, beneath the scorching sun, lies one of the richest uranium reserves on Earth, and right now, India is quietly moving in signing deals, securing shipments, and planning for a future where uranium is the new oil. Why uranium? Because the global race for clean energy isn't just about solar panels and wind turbines, it is about nuclear power, and whoever controls the uranium supply chain will control the next energy revolution. But here's the kicker. India isn't just buying uranium. It's positioning itself against China in one of the most strategic battles of the 21st century. A battle where Africa, often ignored in global power plays, suddenly holds the trump card. And to understand how India got here, we need to start with a question no one is asking. Why Namibia? Namibia may look like endless desert, but buried underneath is a treasure trove. The country is home to the world's fourth largest uranium reserves. Mines like Husab and Rossing are capable of powering entire continents if fully tapped. For decades, these reserves were primarily exploited by Western and Chinese companies. China, through state-owned enterprises, became the dominant player controlling Husab, one of the biggest uranium mines in the world. But something unusual happened. In 2023, India, which had traditionally imported uranium from countries like Kazakhstan, Canada, and Australia, signed a landmark deal with Namibia. It was quiet, almost under the radar, but the implications were massive. India now had a direct line to African uranium. And if you think this is just about buying fuel, you're missing the bigger picture. Because what India really wants is leverage. And to see why leverage matters, we have to rewind to India's nuclear story. India has always had an uneasy relationship with nuclear power. Back in the 1970s, when it tested its first nuclear device, the world turned its back. The US imposed sanctions, Western suppliers cut off uranium, and India was forced to build a parallel nuclear program almost in isolation. For years, it struggled with shortages, rationing uranium between civilian reactors and defense needs. Then, in 2008, came the US-India nuclear deal. Suddenly, India was recognized as a responsible nuclear power, free to trade uranium on the global market. Since then, India has been racing to build reactors, 17 operational, 7 under construction, and dozens planned. But here's the problem. India doesn't have enough domestic uranium to fuel them all. That shortage creates a dangerous dependency. If Kazakhstan or Australia cut supplies, India's entire energy program slows down. Which is why Namibia matters so much. Because uranium from Namibia isn't just fuel, it's freedom. But the bigger question is, why does India see this as a way to outpace China? To answer that, look at what China has done in Africa over the last 20 years. Through its Belt and Road Initiative, China poured billions into infrastructure, ports, and mines. Namibia was no exception. The Husab mine, which is majority owned by China General Nuclear Power Group, produces thousands of tons of uranium annually, much of it shipped directly to Chinese reactors. Beijing has built not only supply chains but also political influence in Windhoek, Namibia's capital. This strategy is simple. Lock up resources before anyone else can, and it's worked. Today, China is the world's largest builder of nuclear reactors, with over 50 in operation and 20 more under construction. India, by contrast, is far behind. But here's where things flip. Unlike China, India is not weighed down by accusations of debt traps or predatory loans in Africa. Its image is softer, its diplomacy framed as South-South cooperation, a partnership among equals. And that difference is giving India an opening in Namibia. But to see how India is playing this smarter, we need to look at the fine print of the Namibia deal. On paper, the Indian-Namibia uranium agreement looks straightforward. Long-term supply of uranium for India's civilian nuclear program. But behind closed doors, it's more strategic. India isn't just importing ore, it's offering Namibia something China often doesn't: technology transfer, training programs, and investment in renewable energy. Instead of just digging resources and shipping them out, India is promising to help Namibia build value on its own soil. This is key, because Namibians are wary of being seen only as exporters of raw materials. By packaging uranium trade with infrastructure, education, and healthcare partnerships, India is selling itself as a better alternative to China, and if this strategy succeeds, it could spread to other African nations with uranium reserves: Niger, South Africa, Tanzania. But there's another twist. India's uranium play isn't just about energy. It's also about geopolitical survival, and to see why, we need to connect the dots to the global nuclear race. Right now, the world is in the middle of an energy transition. Oil and gas are still dominant, but climate change is forcing countries to rethink. Renewables are rising, but they're not enough on their own, which leaves nuclear power as the ultimate wildcard: clean, scalable, and reliable. China has made nuclear the centerpiece of its long-term strategy, aiming to dominate reactor exports just like it did with solar panels. Russia, too, is aggressively exporting nuclear plants through its state-owned company Rosatom. Where does that leave India? If it can secure stable uranium supplies, India could become the first developing nation to build a truly large-scale nuclear grid, showing the global south that nuclear energy isn't just for the West or China. That would give New Delhi a powerful diplomatic card: energy leadership. But of course, this won't come without pushback, because if India rises, someone else loses. And that brings us to the West's response. Western powers are nervous about two things: losing influence in Africa and losing dominance in nuclear technology. For decades, companies from France, the US, and Canada controlled uranium exports. That monopoly is breaking. If Namibia becomes a hub where India, not France or China, is the trusted partner, it shifts the balance of power. Washington and Brussels don't want to see that happen. Already, there are quiet lobbying efforts to keep Namibia tied into Western energy frameworks. But Namibia is playing its own game. It knows it has leverage. Uranium is in short supply, and everyone needs it. By partnering with India, Namibia signals that it won't just be a junior partner to the West or China. It wants multipolarity, multiple partners, multiple deals, more autonomy, and if this model works in Namibia, expect to see it spread across the entire African continent, which raises the biggest question of all: will India's uranium gamble actually pay off? From the deserts of Namibia to the reactors of Mumbai, a new alliance is being forged, one that could change not just the balance of power in Africa, but the entire global energy map. For India, Namibian uranium is more than just fuel. It's insurance against shortages, leverage against China, and a ticket into the global nuclear club. For Namibia, it is a chance to escape the old patterns of exploitation and build partnerships on its own terms. The world rarely pays attention to Namibia, but in the decades to come, the decisions being made there may decide who controls the energy future: China, the West, or a rising India, because sometimes the quiet deals made in the desert echo the loudest across the world.